Has your anxiety been feeling through the roof? Stick with me. We're going to put together a simple plan that you can use just about anywhere to get your nervous system back on track in about 5 minutes or less. Hello, I'm Darcy Collins, licensed clinical social worker, and today we're going to put together a simple 5-minute anxiety plan that you can take with you no matter where you're going to help get your nervous system back on track fast. First part of the plan, emotion metabolism. We need to feel the feelings and let them digest. This can be accomplished through 3 simple steps. I feel, I notice, and a 5 to 10 second pause. For our example here, we're going to use anxiety. It's going to look something like this. I feel anxious. I notice tightness in my chest. I notice my heart beating faster. That's it. I feel, fill in the blank with the emotion label. I notice, fill in the blank with whatever sensations you're feeling at that time. Allow at least a 5-second pause for everything to settle in and digest. Emotions need to be digested, metabolized when they happen. So first off, we need to do that. Second, let's give some time to the classic breathing. We're going to do it in this way. We're going to spend at least a minute or so on paced breathing. My inhale through my nose. I hold the breath. My exhale through my mouth, and then another pause. Each one of these steps is going to be based on my body, how I'm feeling, how long an inhale I want, how long a pause I want, how long I want my exhale to be, and the final pause. So each one of these could look different each time that they're happening. Whatever feels comfortable, go with it. This is doing 2 things. It's likely going to slow down overall the pace of our breathing. And if we're feeling anxious, there's a good chance our breathing has either gotten faster and or shorter. So it's going to help slow everything down. And to do this, we have to bring our attention into our body. I have to know when I want to stop. I have to know how long I want to pause before I exhale. I want to know how long an exhale to take and how long to pause before the next inhale. So let's give it a try. Of course, the way I do it may be different than the way you do it. And this is what it's going to look like. plan to give that about at least a minute or so when you're doing it. Now, our third part, we're going to use our sense of touch to help connect with a couple of the emotion hotspots in the body. If we're talking anxiety, if we're talking any other significant anxiety, most commonly it's going to be felt in 3 different spots. Our head, dizzy, lightheaded, racing thoughts, tension. Our chest, our heart, tension, short, quick breathing, rapid heart rate. Our stomach, our abdomen, tension, nausea, knots in the stomach, butterflies in the stomach. So these are going to be the 3 hot spots. So we're going to use our sense of touch to tap into a couple of those hot spots and try to bring on some regulation that way. That's going to look like this. Right hand over the heart, over the chest. You, of course, won't have a wireless microphone attached, but this is the seat belt, if you grew up doing that, the Pledge of Allegiance stance. Our right hand just falls nicely into that spot. I can just do that. I can bring my left hand over it for both on there. Call this one hand over heart. And just leave it in that spot. Now for the pressure, I want to feel it, and I don't want to restrict my breathing while I'm doing it. So I can do this, I can spend some time in this position. And of course, I can pace breathe while doing so. Now, I can leave my right hand in this position. I can take my left hand and bring that down to my abdomen, right about belly button area. Again, just enough pressure that I feel it, and I am not restricting my breathing in any manner. I can hold this position if I like. I can bring both hands down to my abdomen and hold them in that position. I'd recommend at least 30 seconds to 60 seconds holding in one of these positions. Of course, paced breathing can take place at the same time. Feel the pressure, feel the warmth of your hands. But that's what that would look like in practice. Now, our fourth part is going to be something that directly prompts or turns on, tones our vagus nerve response. All we need to know now is that that is an important nerve in the conduction of mood and emotion signals throughout our body. So to do this, we can do things such as sitting up or standing up with a straight back, straight shoulder position. We can open our hands, open our body. All of this communicates safety, openness, willingness, all sensations that will help regulate our nervous system. We can use our facial expressions. We can raise our eyebrows. We can put on a genuine smile. these facial expressions will also signal back to our brain, back to our nervous system, openness, connection, social safety. We can engage in some humming or some singing. Doesn't matter what. But we want those vocal cords moving. They are moving close to where our vagus nerve travels through our neck. So when we get those moving, that also helps turn on that response. So a bit of humming. Is going to help turn that on. Now, our final part here, bringing aboard some type of bilateral stimulation. Just a fancy term for describing some way using movement to get both sides of our body going, both sides of our brain connected at the same time. This can be accomplished with touch, one hand to each shoulder, and tapping back and forth, tapping back and forth. Of course, I can do the same thing I'm seated here. I can do the same thing on top of my legs. Back and forth like that. This can also be done using back and forth eye movements, which would look like this. In essence, I'm looking to one side of the room, and as soon as I've looked to that side, my eyes move and I'm looking to the other side of the room, going through the full range of motion that they have with my head and my neck straight and stable. Trying to imagine that they're staying on a line while they're doing that. So they're not moving up and down and around, but they're on a straight line, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, important information. If you have trouble with seizures or any past trouble with seizures, do not do the back and forth eye movements. You're going to want to stick to something touch-based at that point. With either of these, again, you're going to want to do it in somewhere in a range 45 to 60 seconds. And then stop. Check in, see what you're feeling. If you're good to go, you can stop there. If you need to go back in, you can do another set of them for another 45 to 60 seconds. Putting all of these together should be able to be accomplished in 5 minutes or less. Now, of course, you can shorten the duration if you need to. You can use any one of these as its own standalone thing to do. I just think they're going to work well in combination with each other. Getting nervous system regulation from multiple angles, using multiple senses. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for spending the time with me. And of course, if you want to know why you would do this, well, what about all the other stuff to do with anxiety? I've heard a lot of things. Why can't I just do that? Take a look. Take a look at this video for an explanation on ways that Anxiety hangs around. Anxiety maintains itself, some of which you might not even think of. Of course, feel free to check out anything else on the channel. I thank you for being here, and as always, stay regulated.